Hi, I'm Seth Endicott, Assistant Director for the Center for Student Achievement, and today I want to explain the study strategy spaced repetition. This strategy derived from the German psychologist Irving Ebbinghaus, who performed the first studies on memory. Through this study, he developed the forgetting curve, which is the amount of time between sessions in which you are most likely to begin forgetting the material you learned. So what is spaced repetition? Simply put, spaced repetition is studying by quizzing yourself on the material and increasing time intervals between each additional study session. This comes from the spacing effect that states that we learn more effectively when spacing out our learning over time. As I talked about with the forgetting curve, you can see within a day, you can forget almost half of the information you learned, whether it's a lecture or initially learning a new concept. To fix this curve, you must study the material cumulatively. So studying the material within a day after first learning information, you can see the curve gets less steep. If you do it again a few days later, less steep, and then a few days later again, less steep. With each additional study session, you're more likely to remember the learned information for a longer period of time. So here's how this strategy works. As you actively quiz yourself, you'll start all of your flashcards in box 1. You move all correct answers to the next box. Any incorrect answers, regardless of what box they were in, will move back to box 1, which will require more repetition. You can choose how many boxes you want. If you have a test in a week, you may only be able to study the material 3 times, so make 3 boxes. If it's a month, you may be able to study the material 5 or 6 times, so make 5 or 6 boxes. If you are studying for a test next week, you want to go no more than a day between your first and second study session. Then increase by a day or so and study regardless. Go through your flashcards one more time the night before the test. If your test is 3 weeks to a month from now, you want to go no more than a week between your first and second study session. Remember, if the cards are still in box 1 because you got them wrong, you need to study them sooner than the next spaced repetition interval so that they can get back to the next box and catch up. The key here is to study the course information cumulatively. Create your flashcards the day the material is learned. You can create questions from your notes, generate questions from your PowerPoint, or copy down questions from your book and create flashcards out of these. Here is an example of what your cards will look like using spaced repetition. You can buy an index card box from Target or Walmart or Staples and get dividers to divide that index card box up into sections, or you can spread your material out on a flat surface like a table. As you can see here, and rubber band your cards and put them in its appropriate section. There's also apps such as Tiny Cards in which you can perform spaced repetition online. The best habit you can get into with spaced repetition is getting into the habit of not cramming for tests. Learning the material once during the lecture and not studying or reviewing that until the night before the test is not a recipe for academic success. Use spaced repetition and stay ahead on your information by studying the material cumulatively. Thanks for watching and good luck.